My award, it's tough to pick one because this is they're all shameful, and they're all the ShameStream media. But I don't know how you could go with anyone other than CNN. I think CNN. When I was younger, like a teenager, and started watching news, I watched CNN. Used to be news, and for a lot of reasons, it's changed over the last few years. But number one, I think something that's really been underscored. Obviously, there's the Trump stuff. CNN was one of the main culprits in giving off the impression that the Democratic primary was over before it was over. They put on the screen in their calculations, with super delegates, Hillary Clinton up by like 800 delegates, which was not actually factual. It's CNN's job and the rest of the ShameStream media to add context to show different
What is
categories.
context?
Exactly. So if you were a person who might not be sold on Hillary Clinton, but you watch CNN, why even bother voting in your primary? She's already, 800 delegates away. For people that don't know, obviously, there's pledged delegates, which you get from the actual votes in each state. And then there's super delegates, which you get from, Democratic establishment blowhards, who all of them, all 400, pretty much lined up for Hillary Clinton before Bernie even announced he was running. And the superdelegate system, it needs to go away. But CNN, I got in a Twitter fight with James, Jack, what the hell is his name? Tapper. Oh, Jake Tapper.
Jake Tapper.
Sorry, no sleep. Jake Tapper, I got in a war about this over superdelegates, but the bottom line is it was deceiving. And really, it was a competitive race among pledged delegates all the way up until, I'd say, May. So they pretty much wanted to give their audience the impression that Hillary Clinton had it in the bag. Then you move on to their lack of coverage of Bernie Sanders. I actually just got into it with Brian Stelter over that on Twitter. In one of his Daily Beast did a real nice puff profile on him. And he said, one of my biggest regrets is, my Bernie coverage or lack thereof. Well, nice of you to, commemorate that after the fact. But instead of showing Bernie Sanders rallies with 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, 25,000, they were showing empty podiums of Donald Trump. And, if I only took one journalism class, I'm happy I didn't take more. But you kind of learn like the values of like what is a story. One of the top ones is there a lot of people involved? Okay. So Donald Trump, CNN let Donald Trump get away with this lie that he has more people at his rallies than Bernie Sanders. I was at both throughout the year. There was no Donald Trump rally I'd ever been at that was as big as the rallies Bernie Sanders was at. But the problem is CNN and other mainstream outlets, it wasn't to their benefit to showcase
Right.
Bernie Sanders. Their parent companies don't want that. What do you think?
You're under the assumption that they are adhering or even give a damn about journalistic standards. They are entertainment. That is their primary objective. And when you have a reality show host that is spewing whatever nonsense and bloviating for hours on end in front of crowds with their little red hats who are cheering and cheering and cheering, that makes for good TV. That is a reality show. And Bernie Sanders talking about the issues, talking about income inequality, talking about debt-free college, that's not sexy. That's not news. That's not fun entertainment in their mind. And while I think our objective is to inform, their objective is to get ratings. And in their twisted, warped way of thinking about the world, they think that substance equals bad ratings. I got news for you, CNN. People are desperate for substance, and that's why they are leaving you in droves and coming to us.
And the last thing, of course, I honestly believe if Bernie Sanders would have got the coverage that he deserved, it would have been a lot closer race.
Yep.
Can I say definitely he would have won? I really don't know. But the bottom line is, if he got a quarter of the coverage of Donald Trump, you're talking about a much different race between him and Hillary Clinton. And the last thing, of course, is Trump. I found it amusing, but also infuriating that after he won, how did this happen? How did we get here? Are you fucking kidding me? Because you showed this guy 24/7 for a year and a half. You showed his empty podiums. You went on and on for hours about a tweet. that he would put up in the morning, his boogers, fights between Ted Cruz and Donald Trump over their wives. Meanwhile, can't drink water in Flint. People are dying senselessly in Syria. I'm going to get to Standing Rock in a minute. CNN, the problem is CNN and MSNBC and all these outlets, because they are limousine liberal cocktail crowd elites who live in New York and in D.C. mostly, they only care about the narrative that is built within that corridor. And that's called the horse race. They don't care about anything else. That's why after the election, all of them were shocked. Oh my God, people in the Midwest are actually angry about the state of America? Maybe, oh shit, I haven't gone there in 5 years to talk to any of them. What? Go figure. So, CNN, honestly, if you ask me, is 75% of why Donald Trump is in office. Because who watches CNN? Old people. A lot of the people who voted for Donald Trump watch CNN, and they were exposed to him all year, 24/7. You might as well call it TNN, Trump National Network. It was insane. And the last thing about CNN, and I think this is even more dangerous for the future of just the country. I mean, the bottom line is, you and I went to Standing Rock together twice, I think, but I went a couple more times. And at the end of the day, like, CNN has more resources, like, at filling like one corridor of the building than all of TYT has. I mean, that's just a fact. So does MSNBC and all the other outlets. And they didn't really send an actual reporter till the end, when there was the possibility of, the OK Corral between the veterans and the water protectors. They didn't have anyone there. They didn't have anyone there on the bridge that night when war crimes were being perpetrated. A woman almost lost her arm, a 21-year-old girl. Another Native American woman is now blind in one eye because of tear gas shot right at her. That's just one example of the illegal war crimes that were perpetrated. But when there's an oil company involved, bankrolled by a lot of the banks that are connected to CNN's parent company, oh well, that's not as sexy as Donald Trump's what Melania Trump is wearing tonight. And also,
Yep.
they're the first ones to go out to Charlotte or Ferguson or any place where an African American is senselessly killed by police. And no problem with them going out there. They should be there. But if it's in North Dakota and there's Native Americans involved and an oil company involved, we don't have time to do that. So I think CNN, MSNBC, their dereliction of duty. I mean, half the country doesn't know about this girl whose arm was blown off, this other girl who's blind, all the people with PTSD, all the people who have had hypothermia. The fact that there's no evidence that there's a woman named Red Fawn in jail right now for attempted murder, shooting at a police officer. I'm sure you know, but half the people don't know. They've provided no gun, and there's literally video evidence when the gunshot goes off, her on the ground with 7 police officers over her. CNN hasn't covered that at all. So it's not the resources, it's the will. They don't have the will to do it. And you know what? CNN, whether Fox News is better rated, CNN has the most resources, and CNN internationally is the biggest news network in the world on broadcast and cable. So the fact that they are choosing to cover Trump and this substanceless drivel that they put forward instead of stuff like Standing Rock shows you that TYT, Democracy Now!, the independent media, it's our responsibility now because they are not news. They are infotainment.